I need first class and I need tailored clothes, but I got NFL problems without NFL money. And I'd be like, hey, I didn't finish. My knee was acting up. And then as a coach, you read that and you're like, man, this bitch.
Why it's important to stay humble, going through everything I have been through, is knowing that we're only one injury away from it all being over.
I'll get a lot of guys that'll be like, my doctor tells me there's nothing wrong with me, but I think I'm having kidney issues. And I'm like, you think I'm gonna tell you anything different? Like, what do I know that your doctor doesn't know? Other than maybe get a second opinion. Because there are things that get swept under the rug, right? Like, I had high blood pressure and people were telling me that it was from all these other issues and that my kidneys looked fine. And then it wasn't until the kidneys got really bad that it started showing up in blood and in my urine. But, you know, if you're worried about it, you should really, really see a doctor. And see a specialist. Just don't go to like your GP. Go get a referral to see a nephrologist or a urologist, somebody that can help you find the right group. Blood pressure is something that absolutely should be monitored. Like, even if you're not taking any gear, and you know, I think a healthy range is like anything over 130 over 80 would be considered like pre-hypertensive. Anything over like 130 or 150 over 90 or 100, like, you should be concerned. And they would probably have intervention before that you'd probably have to start taking a blood pressure med. But it's like one of the easiest things to prevent. And there's dietary causes, you know, weight gain. If you added on a lot of size, even if it's muscle, those things can play a big role. Diet is huge. A lot of people eat like food that's not good for them and high in sodium. You know, salt by itself isn't bad, but processed foods with the high amounts of sodium can be very detrimental to especially your blood pressure. I think anybody that's watched my channel, like, I even have videos of me like walking through planes, and it's like I look incredibly large on a small plane, and then you're like sitting next to two people. Like, especially when I gotta fly by myself, I hate it.
To buy two plane tickets.
I don't buy 2 plane tickets. What I need to do is like get first class. I need first class and I need tailored clothes, but I got NFL problems without NFL money. My damn knee would have held out. I could have bent somebody. Now, cardio is going to be a big emphasis of my training now. Even while I'm powerlifting, I'm still going to do a full day of cardio. You know, for no other reason than just cardiovascular and health. Like, I'm not doing it to stay lean. I'm not doing it to help me with lifting, with capacity or anything like that. I just want a healthy heart. But I can already notice, like, I'm at 12 minutes, 30 seconds, talking and riding out. Like, nothing fucking hard, right? But I'm also not out of breath. I'm not tired. When we were doing the video and before, I'd do 5 minutes and I'd be like, okay, it's time to lift. I'm tired. And it would be harder for me to do. I'm really not pushing myself on purpose. So like, I could do more right now, but I'm just like really, see if I get a little push pull, get that little arm pump in. But I'm really just trying to get movement, stimulate some blood flow, and start working my way back. It's, you know, anytime you get a setback, you gotta crawl your way back in. You can't just hit it hard. And this is a big one. This is something I dealt with for years and I'm still dealing with. So it's not like I'm gonna walk in here and expect to be benching 405 for reps. You know, I'm gonna have to start with bands, and then I'm gonna use machines, and then I'll get back to free weights. It'll be a slow climb, but I'm excited for it. And I'm excited to be excited. It's been a long time. I felt like so defeated and so unmotivated for so long, but I just kept doing it because it's my discipline. And now I'm like finding myself like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start with these workouts, then I'm gonna move to this. After this amount of time, I should be here, then I can go and do this. It's person to person, but like cardio isn't going to get you strong, and it's not going to help you increase maxes. Like, but I always say there's a difference between testing strength and building strength, and I think a lot of guys get in the habit of just testing their strength all the time with the one reps, rather than taking some time and actually developing a healthier, bigger physique. But for the most part, like powerlifters, you know, they don't focus on health. They just care about one thing, getting bigger numbers. I mean, hypertrophy is pretty basic, right? Like it could be, that's why like people are like, oh, it's a powerlifting program, power building program, strength program, bodybuilding program. It's like you're using these terms, but the science behind it doesn't change. It's like time intervals, how often you're training, the intensity of which you train, you know, all those things are put together to develop the program. And for hypertrophy, it's a straightforward recipe. For strength, it's a relatively straightforward recipe, but a lot of guys fuck it up. And like I said in my last video where I was talking about, it doesn't really matter what program you're on. It's like, you know, I've worked with a lot of different coaches, ran a lot of different programs, and I kept getting stronger just because I put in the effort, and I would sleep and eat and do what I needed to do. And you know, you'll connect with some coaches, you won't connect with other coaches, like, and especially if you don't believe in what they're telling you, you're like questioning things. But you know, you tell guys to do stuff and they're like, well, I couldn't do that today, so I did this, and I failed I overshot my RPE. And I'm like, then you're changing the whole program. So you're no longer running my program, you're doing your own version of what you think my program is, and then you hold me accountable for when you shit the bed. But even the best coaches I've worked with, and I'm calling myself out here, but I worked with Chad Wesley Smith a long time, respect the dude tremendously. I think he's brilliant and came out with a lot of great programs, but like I would tweak them. I would tweak them to fit my mold. And I would, like, sometimes I'd ask him for feedback and he'd be like, Steve, you know, you didn't get as strong as you did by listening to other people. He's like, you got to figure some stuff out yourself. And he would help me with the programming and gave me some feedback when I needed it. But for the most part, he just sent me a program and just let me ride for 3 months. And I would get stronger. But, you know, I knew my body too, where I would be like, he'd have me do a lot of volume work. And I would try to get through as much of it as possible, but I would, you know, I'm getting fatigued. I didn't do the last 2 sets. So I would change my program, but it worked for me. And I never once held Chad accountable for missing a lift. It was me. The only person that knows you the best is you. So like if you're getting to the point where you're just shutting down, like you're gonna do more damage than good at that point, the overachieving goal is to like try to make your way so you can get through the workouts. But you know, coaches, it's a recipe too. Like we take a percentage of your max and apply it. That's like a general rule. Like most people should be able to do a 5x5 at like 78 to 82% of their max, but not everybody can. Like I was really good at singles, but I sucked at rep work, especially on squats. So, you know, Chad would have me do all these squat loads and various rep ranges, and it was hard for me to keep up. Or like my knee would start hurting and I'm like, dude, I'm not gonna push through 2 more sets of this and fuck my knee up to where I can't squat the second squat day. So I shut it down. And I'd be like, hey, I didn't finish, my knee was acting up. And then as a coach, you read that and you're like, man, this fucking bitch. But it's true, like, but every meet I did, I set a PR in every meet I ever did. It wasn't always a total PR, but I either out squatted my previous squat, I out benched my previous bench, or I got a total. For the first like 3 years of powerlifting, I PR'd everything, every meet. And then it wasn't until I started getting sick that things started slowing down. But even on my last meet where I tore my pec, I still squatted 804, which was a big goal for me, because squats I suck at. All right, we did 20 minutes.